It's our fourth period at trade deadline coverage brought to you by Betway. That's David Pagnotta. I'm Irfaan Gaffar. David, let's start with the Dallas Stars and the news of the day. Not really trade related, but they took care of some business, didn't they?
They did, yeah, a little house cleaning. They wanted to get Joe Pavelski locked up to an extension beyond this season, and they've done that. It's a one-year contract extension for Joe Pavelski. It's less than the $7 million AAV he's getting this season. A bunch of bonuses are into his deal, so a good deal for him and a good deal for the Dallas Stars. He loves the community there. He wanted to lock in to an extension, and the Stars certainly wanted to do that as well. They're in the thick of things in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know there's no Miro Heiskanen for the next little bit, but they're in the thick of it, and they wanted to take care of some house cleaning before looking at the trade market moving forward.
What's next, do you think, for this Dallas Stars team? I mean, you mentioned Miro Heiskanen out with mono. Obviously, we hope that he gets better and heals fast, but what's next for this Dallas Stars team?
I think a lot of status quo. I don't think there's going to be too much activity around the deadline for them. I know Radulov's a UFA, Braden Holtby's a UFA, John Klingberg is a UFA. There have been no discussions, by the way, with him on any contract stuff. It's effectively understood that this will be his last season in Dallas. Now, there's a possibility, although it has been quiet on the trade front, it's still possible they move him out and bring in another defenseman. But with the Heiskanen injury, or illness rather, I'm not really sure at this point what direction they go. They may hold firm, use him as their own rental. So I'm not anticipating too much from the Dallas Stars unless something really falls into Jim Nill's lap.
Dave, let's go to Pittsburgh, where their GM, Ron Hextall, has said that the team is looking to maybe add a scoring winger. What names do you think pop up when he says that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he admitted it earlier today, and it's really been no secret that the Pittsburgh Penguins would like to add another guy to their top six, maybe middle six, even depending on what's out there. Rickard Rakell is a player out of Anaheim, low cap hit, all things considered, it's under $4 million. But a lower cap hit and a guy that can play both sides of the ice and a guy that can contribute offensively. He goes on spurts, but he can contribute offensively and can contribute as well in his own zone. There are a few other players that are out there, but from a rental market perspective, Raquel seems to be the main guy. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Pittsburgh Penguins go the route of a non-rental, looking at players with term, wingers with term. They've been connected to the Vancouver Canucks with
Yeah.
respect to Connor Garland, Brock Besser. They're looking around to see what other assets may be available that are out there. There have been some chatter that the Montreal Canadiens are taking calls on Mike Hoffman, who's got a few years left on his deal. Is that somebody that the Pittsburgh Penguins may look at? A guy with term left on his deal. The thing is, with Pittsburgh, they don't have a ton of cap space. They've got a little bit of leniency in LTI, but other than that, they really, if they are going to make an impact move, may end up moving out of body. So whether it's McGinn, whether it's Kapanen, if they want to get creative by adding somebody in that top six, it may end up resulting in somebody leaving the team as well.
Yeah, and it's no secret the relationship that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin have here in Vancouver with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So definitely an interesting two couple teams to keep an eye on. And finally, let's finish off in Montreal, where Jake Allen is, getting closer to returning. Now, obviously, he hasn't played. Montreal's goaltending situation still kind of up in the air. Could he be an underrated asset for a team come the deadline?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Irf. I mean, he's going to be back relatively soon. He's been practicing with the team. His cap hit's under $3 million. I think it's 2.875. He's got one more year left on his contract. I think you're right. If they're for teams that are looking to bolster their and solidify their goaltending, if the right deal falls into place for the Montreal Canadiens, I think Jake Allen is going to be somebody we may start to hear a little bit more of as we approach the deadline, 10 days away. Teams are trying to get creative. Semyon Varlamov is still out there, but he's got some no trade protection. Obviously, there's Fleury and a couple other guys, but Jake Allen with 1 year left on his deal, do not be surprised if he ends up getting moved in the next 10 days.
The next 10 days should be all sorts of fun, David. Thank you very much for this. And always for more, head on over to thefourthperiod.com.